those countries. They've come onto the civilian scene in very significant numbers indeed. UMass now has 3 of them at its facilities at Harden. So heading in straight towards us for the final manoeuvre of their display. The nose lights very visible against the clouds. With smoke on, Sean's retention calls them to pull up, and this is going to be their final split. So Sean Judenchen and Ian Busters. But in this year that 504K earlier on was part of the Great War display team, well, let's continue that story now. As heading in from the left, we have a real gaggle of different trainers, beginning in the between the wars years, and leading them through is the Avro Tutor from the Shuttleworth collection, the world's only airworthy example of this biplane trainer type. Then we have a mix of interwar and wartime biplane and monoplane trainers with the de Havilland DH-82A Tiger Moth and the Miles Magister, and then we come into the post-war years with the de Havilland Canada Chipmunk T10, the Scottish Aviation Bulldog T1 and the Slingsby T67N 260 Firefly, being rapidly caught up by the British Velis Electro, the first all-electric aircraft that we ever had displayed at the Duxford show.
Is really important, of course, because the fighter pilots will be flying aircraft of that period, and they were all tail draggers, and they're harder to handle on the ground very often than they are in the air. Very often pilots get in the habit of just flying using the stick, when in fact with a Tiger Moth you very much have to use the rudder as well. And if you're landing in a tail dragger, such as a Tiger Moth, it's very easy to do a ground loop. If the wind catches you and you're not awake, which is what I was talking about, an aircraft mustn't be too benign as a trainer, because it'll eventually bite you if you just let it run away with itself.
he's always said it requires a very positive touch on the controls, really, to demonstrate, to separate those pilots out who might be, worthy of moving on to something bigger and more powerful.
Absolutely, that's right. And what we're talking about here, of course, is the stages of training that a pilot during the 1930s and 40s would go through. This is very much at the lower echelon. And from here, they would move on to much more powerful war rank, the Harleys.
Indeed.
They would also be training in what would be quite calm conditions.
Now we're into the post-war period. We'll be coming back to the Avro Tutor shortly, but cavorting in front of us, we've got the glorious handling de Havilland and the Canada Chipmunk. We've then got the Scottish Aviation Bulldog, which largely replaced the Chipmunk, and the Slingsby Firefly, which actually had a hand in replacing both.
Yes, and now we're moving forward quite a bit because now we have a nose wheel.
We do, on two of the three aircraft at the very least, yes. And the Chipmunk was designed as a Tiger Moth successor for both the RAF and the Royal Canadian. Wartime types carried on, but very soon the Chipmunk picked up and became, again, almost as much of a legend as the Tiger Moth.
And of course, famously, Prince
An aircraft that still survives in flying condition over at Old Warden.
And of course now there are lots of
Tell that story right into the 21st century, because while the Chipmunk was retired by the RAF in 1996 with its last operators, some of the Air Experience flights, which fly members of the Air Cadets, the Scottish Aviation Bulldog took over from the Chipmunk with the University Air Squadrons, and then it replaced the Bulldog with the Air Experience flights as well. That's the other red and white aircraft in this formation, the one nearest to us as they come past. The Bulldog in turn was replaced by the Crop Tutor, which we had hoped to have in today's display, which unfortunately due to a fleet-wide grounding at the moment is an aircraft with a great Duxford connection. This was the successor to the Avro 504. It was known at the time as an all-metal aircraft. What that actually meant in the 1930s was a steel and aluminium alloy structure rather than wood, but still with the fabric covering. A small batch was ordered for service trials, and by late 1931, tutors with both Mongoose and Lynx 4 engines built by Armstrong Siddeley were in service with number 3 Flying Training School. The RAF decided to choose the Tutor while early problems with the Tiger Moth were ironed out, and the RAF College and the Central Flying School brought them into use in numbers during 1933, and they served with a large number of University Air Squadrons as well. One of those was the Cambridge University Air Squadron, which was based here at RAF Duxford. And some years ago, the IWM spoke to a former Cambridge University Air Squadron instructor, one Joseph Cox, about the type of students he encountered here at Duxford between the wars.
They were all jolly nice, the only one way to describe them, really nice young gentlemen. One or two of them were a little bit wild, but I mean wild in a nice way, in a very nice way. But when it came down to the flying, they were I thought excellent. I can't remember, I had a heck of a lot on, but I think I showed you that list of them. I had a whole list of them, and I can't think of one that really could cause me any trouble. Conduct-wise, I'm talking about. I mean, one or two of them were more difficult to teach to fly than others, but then.
Now this is a product of the Slovenian-based Pipistrel company. It already developed the world's first two-seat electric aircraft, the Taurus Electro, which flew in 2007. The Velis Electro is based on the conventionally engined Virus aircraft. It's a side-by-side two-seater, largely composite construction, incredibly light. Its maximum takeoff weight is just 600 kilos. And of course, while it's in operation, it has 0 emissions and a noise level of just 60 decibels. Top top speed just under 100 knots, ceiling of 12,000 feet, and it has 50 minutes of endurance. And Pipistrel also produces both the electric power plant and its battery, which rather takes us back to when de Havilland used to build both engines and airframes, as we'll see when we see the Tiger Moth coming past us again. The silence is broken, meanwhile, by our 3 Spitfires getting airborne from the grass, 2 Mark 5s and the Mark 8. And indeed, certified with approval for pilot flight training. And here is training through the years personified. Tiger Moth, Magister, Chipmunk, Bulldog, Firefly. And the Velis Electro chasing them through. Circumstances with a technical problem that's recently been affecting that fleet to bring things up to date as far as the RAF is concerned, but a glimpse into the future with the Velis Electro. First of them to land is the Slingsby Firefly, this fantastic, very, very aerobatically capable 260 horsepower version, operated by Anglian Flight Centres from Earl's Cone in Essex and flown here by Nigel Wilson. Very popular on the civilian market. Only one military operator still believed to be flying the Bulldog, which is the Lebanese Air Force. Kenya and Malta also soldiered on with the Bulldog, but they've now retired them. This one privately owned by Mike Miles, who keeps it at Audley End, just down towards Stansted, with Clive Denny flying it today. And that classic shape of the Chipmunk. This one also based at Audley End with the Chippy Sierra Yankee group and Phil Hardisty, who coordinated this whole trainer sequence, flying that. Then we've got the Velis Electro with Sam Watmo at the controls, which, as I mentioned before, the display. Spent some time here at Duxford in the 1970s, at the time the museum was first opening to the public, when it was owned as a hulk by the East Anglian Aviation Society, but now absolutely immaculate. Now we're looking out for one of the types of display that, again, a Duxford show would hardly be complete without. And the sound of Rolls-Royce Merlin powering a trio of Supermarine Spitfires and a single Hawk Hurricane. Our Merlin formation in from the right.